Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Solove 20,000 mAh capacity smart power bank. This one retails on Amazon for less than 33 bucks. So Solove is actually one of my favorite power bank and accessory manufacturers I've checked out in the past. Their quick charge power banks, as well as the milk power bank that we saw, were really clever in terms of design, being different, solid in construction, and just being a testament to what really nice human-centered design can look like. And now they're back with a more generic power bank that's slightly less expensive but has the highest capacity yet for their series. This is a 2017 release, and it comes in a few different colors as well. It features an integrated cable that can be adapted for both lightning and micro USB, so you can charge an iPhone, iPad, or your Android device without having to bring along an extra charging cable. There's also an additional LCD display which will show you some notifications like how much percent of the battery is remaining without having to look at LED lights for a less precise measurement. So there's some basic info in terms of the specifications on the back. The voltage is rated at 5 volts, 2.4 amps, so it is powerful enough to charge up an Apple iPad and more power-hungry tablets in general. Let's take a closer look at what you get in the packaging first before we dive into a bit more about the testing and hopefully the performance. Even the packaging here seems different from other kind of power banks I've seen. It seems just a bit more professional and custom made, kind of like Xiaomi in how they put things together. Everything is just very simplistic. There is a QR code you can scan to learn more about the product. So in the box, aside from the power bank unit, which we'll take a closer look at in a second, you have access to a bundled micro USB flat ribbon wire cable that can be plugged in to charge, let's say, a second Android smartphone. Additionally, you have these little adapters, one which is for USB Type-C. This is actually pretty cool since not many power banks come with a pre-included Type-C adapter and a lightning cable for your iOS device. And of course, both of these cables are reversible. So these simply plug into the micro USB end, so you can bring just these little adapter tips within the bag that they give you without having to lug along, let's say, 3 separate cables if you have multiple tablets and phones that you're taking with you on vacation. Next, there's access to instruction manuals. You can see the specific name is called the A5 for the modeling, and there's some details about the specs. Finally, there is the soft carrying pouch with the company's logo on the very bottom here. Taking a closer look at the design of the power bank next, I'm a huge fan of how this is constructed, and just like all of Solove's previous attempts, the design here is the main selling point. It's elegant, it's restrained, and it just feels that much more premium compared to generic power banks I've tested in the past. This is by no means a pocketable or super lightweight power bank, however. At 20,000 milliamp hours, it's quite hefty and large. Compared to something like the Xiaomi Redmi 4X, which is a 5-inch smartphone, you get a better idea of how the size looks. Overall though, the design and build are top-notch. You have access to solid aluminum and a unibody finish all around that curves at the seams and makes it look much more expensive than the price would suggest. The back features some additional branding and logistical information, whereas the top houses the input to charge the power bank by a micro USB, and then the output, which you can plug in the cable for charging an additional device. Here's the integrated cable, which again is micro USB, that tucks along on the side, and you can take it out when you want to charge your smartphone. The top here also features access to a key which you can tap on once to take a look at how much battery life is remaining. You can see the display here is using LED technology, which saves on battery power and makes it visible even under moderate lighting. The top portion of the power bank is made out of a very shiny and glossy plastic, which makes it look quite sleek. However, it does attract more fingerprints. Overall though, I'm a huge fan again of the design and look. It's similar to something like the Google Pixel and how there's a fusion of materials and just makes it feel very, very premium. So let's plug this directly into our Xiaomi phone. And voila, the charging has begun automatically. There is no need to tap on additional keys or buttons for this process to complete. A small indicator on the top that tells you the battery is being charged will start to flash, and the display will be on at all times to tell you how much percentage of the battery is remaining. So again, the benefit of having a relatively large capacity, 20,000 milliamp hours, is you can recharge your phone many, many times. In fact, a typical Android smartphone with a 3000 milliamp hour capacity pack, which is standard for a 5-inch device, can be charged up roughly 6 times with this power bank. So just bringing this with you can definitely last you for roughly a week of use without having to actually plug your phone into the wall. So this remains a really powerful solution if you're going to a different country where you don't have the specific plug, or if you just are off the grid and don't have access to constant electricity. So really powerful. One thing though is it does not have access to a full-sized AC plug, so you can't use it to plug in a laptop charger, for instance, but that's really the only con, just to make the design a lot more sleek. Otherwise, when it comes to charging rate, this one is extremely quick. It's not a Qualcomm Quick Charge enabled battery pack, but it still charged up an average Android smartphone, again with a 3000 milliamp hour capacity, in under 2.5 hours. The iPhone 7 charged up in under 3 hours, and the 7 Plus in under 3.2 hours. Of course, it's also capable to charge up a larger tablet like the Apple iPad Pro without any problems, and it will charge it up roughly 3 to 4 times before the battery completely drains on the unit here. So really powerful, and of course great for charging up all your electronics. You can use multiple plugs at the same time, so I can charge up to 2 devices without interfering with the charging rate and performance, and during use it still remains quite cool in temperature and doesn't get hot, which is nice. It's a smart charger in the sense that it's going to detect once the battery is full and shut off charging to prevent the battery from getting damaged while continuing to charge, let's say, the second port. There's a second LED indicator at the bottom that will flash individually for that. As far as storing battery capacity, it does a great job. You can store it for many months on end, and it drains only a minimal percentage, so it retains everything on board. Now, one feature that this model, the M5, is missing would be an integrated LED flashlight or a torch. So a lot of power banks these days tend to have a little LED which you can use to illuminate darker environments, but you can see that on this one, you don't get that extra bonus feature. So they went for a very clean design here with just the essentials covered. Again, I really like this integrated cable since it makes management a lot easier. One thing I also want to point out is that charging up the power bank itself will take roughly 6 hours to complete, which means that this is definitely a power bank that you should be plugged into the wall and then leave it overnight once the battery has drained, as opposed to expecting it to juice up super quickly. It's also not quick charge enabled again, so it's not going to charge up to 50% in under an hour or anything like that, so make sure you give it plenty of time. All in all, I'm a huge fan of this power bank because the construction and design are both top-notch. The keys, buttons, controls, all the ergonomics feel cleverly thought out, and I'm always impressed by how Solove seems to spend that much more effort in terms of their designs to make sure their products are quality and they work as expected when you take it out of the box. A few slight quirks aside, such as missing an LED torch and maybe not being the most feature-rich power bank on the market, if you're looking for a large capacity 20,000 milliamp hour pack that offers respectable speeds and one of the most classiest designs on the market, this is definitely one to consider. You can learn more information in our upcoming written review, but for now this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.